It is currently one of our hell weeks in Block 3 of medical school, and I wanted to ask some of my peers what their true feelings are about medical school in general. Let's get right into this, but first, if you're new, definitely consider subscribing. Alright, let's go. Okay. Alright, what's the hardest part of med school? What's the hardest thing about med school? What's the hardest part of medical school?
Hardest part? Oh no, you know what? Saying no to like social activities. Like when I need to study.
Time management's definitely the hardest part.
Definitely adjusting at the start. That's probably the worst part.
Staying off your phone when it's right there.
You're just like trying everything out and you're failing, and then you're winning, and then you're failing again.
Yeah.
It's just basically the sheer amount of material you get is just insane.
Not watching Netflix at 2 a.m. Going to bed.
Losing all your hobbies. I know you're gonna cut that one. You know, you can keep your hobbies if you can manage your time.
Yeah.
Try not to get too stressed out, because like the moment you get too overwhelmed, you're just gonna drown.
How's the hardest exam that you took before medical school? Hardest exam you've ever taken before medical school compared to some of the exams that we take now?
My hardest exam was probably the MCAT.
The hardest exams I took in undergrad, I remember stressing so much about. And now in medical school, it's like double, triple, quadruple the amount of content, and you just do it. Like you just get through it, you study, and you get it done.
This is Caitlin. As one of my classmates, she posts some really nice content on social media, mostly on Instagram and TikTok. She posts about med school life and about pre-med life. Now, if you're pre-med who's watching this, a lot of her content can help with your pre-med experience and help you get into medical school. Link to her content is in the description below. Be sure to check it out.
Studying wise, even though I felt like I knew what I was doing at the time that I took my MCAT, now moving forward, like 2 years later, once you get to med school, like you're still always going to be figuring out like what your studying techniques are and what works for you.
So this is Cosette Lim, by the way. You can follow her right here. What class in medical school is your favorite so far?
I would say anatomy, but like this block neuro.
Neuroscience, anatomy based. It's so awesome. You know, we have the cadavers in lab and we get to dissect the actual brain. And the coolest part is when you hold somebody's brain, you know, that's somebody's entire life, personality, everything that they've ever had in their life.
Yeah. I have with me a second-year medical student. What class is your favorite so far?
Okay, so far I think my favorite has been Clin Med endocrinology. So coming into med school, I really liked endo in undergrad, and so I expected to like it, but I really like all the pathways and just all the different diagnoses and how you get from like the different clues that they give you to the eventual diagnosis. So I thought it was really cool.
So what hobbies do you generally make time for when you're not studying?
Usually after I'm done studying, a normal day, I'll try to watch Netflix or play video games.
I've been picking up with doing a daily walk. There's a really pretty walk around my neighborhood. I get to see the mountains and it's really pretty during the sunset and it's like really, really enjoyable. And so
On the weekends, a bunch of my classmates, we get together and play soccer, so I definitely make time for that. And I'm a big soccer fan, so I watch a lot of games on the weekends too.
You got it, soccer.
that's halfway self-care but also really great hobby to just like enjoy the fresh air and not the same candle that you've been having lit for the last 7 hours.
We have a lot of exams coming up. I'll try to make time for it, but definitely on the weekends, I have a lot more time than I expected before coming here.
So what's your take on self-care in general?
It's good. I think it looks different for everybody, and it all sounds so corny, but it is really how you're going to get through school.
Especially medical school, right?
Oh my god, yes.
Real quick, had to get a haircut. What is something that you didn't expect about med school?
Even though it's hard to balance, at the same time, it's easier to balance than you think.
I think that the workload would be a lot, but I think like time management, we all don't really know like how many hours we'll have in the day. Like if you do have mandatory classes, like that takes up a good chunk of your time. So it's kind of hard to plan your day after that.
If you want to do something, you can. You just have to kind of tell yourself, okay, I don't have time, but I'm gonna make time for it.
I think time management after like the afternoon gets a little hard, especially if you want to like fit in a nap and like do all of that or go to the gym. Like just taking care of yourself, like you really do need to pre-plan those things into your schedule and make that a priority.
If you want to prioritize exercising, you can. If you want to prioritize hanging out with your friends, you can.
Because if you don't, it really gets like late in the day and then you're trying to like get everything in and it's really hard. So I feel like one big thing that I like didn't expect was like the time crunch that like happens, but I do think like because I didn't know that, I figured it out now. I think like a tip is that you should just like pre-plan like fun things in your day, like make sure you have time to fit in a nap or like go do something with friends or like put in like that 30 minutes of like running outside or getting like some type of fitness in, and then everything else will just kind of follow.
I think sometimes you just have to be okay with yourself and like okay, I might not do as well on this exam, but like I'm gonna have more energy to like do other things or have a greater effect on like just
your overall mental health, or just like your longevity as a student and lifelong learner.
So how do you plan a typical day in medical school?
So I don't plan out just my day. I usually plan out the whole week. So I kind of see my school schedule first and see when I have classes and labs, and then I plan everything else around it. So if I have extracurricular stuff going on, I plan around that, and then research stuff, and then studying, and then if I'm going out for dinner or lunch with friends, I make sure just to plan out my whole week so it helps avoid any stress that I have.
After asking all my friends about their thoughts about medical school, it was really interesting to see a wide variety of the responses that they gave. As you can see, everyone has a different outlook on the stressors and the ups and downs, and everyone has a different way of coping with stress while studying for exams and learning as much content as possible. While it's important to stay focused on your priorities, there's only so much you can adapt in one day. Even as med students, we still try to find the time to do things that are meaningful to us. Otherwise, not doing so will lead to burnout. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you very much for your support. I greatly appreciate it. If you like the content, leave a like and subscribe if you're new. I always like keeping it real with you.